Welcome back. Right now, we want to take an in-depth look at the biggest story in Houston right now. HPD suspending more than 260,000 cases with that lack of personnel code. Leaders, including Chief Troy Finner, say they knew nothing about this for years. And now Mayor John Whitmire has created what he says is an independent panel to investigate it all. And keep in mind, y'all, this scandal plaguing HPD in the city as Whitmire starts a term where he says crime and public safety is the #1 priority. So we have our Liliana Pearson joining us. She's been leading ABC13's coverage on this story. So what are the latest details you have confirmed on this, Liliana?
Well, what we were supposed to do today was actually go and meet with the Chief of Police, Troy Finner. And this was actually going to be a fairly different meeting for us. This was completely an on-the-record meeting, but we were told that this was a no cameras and no audio recording. So it was going to be kind of different from what we typically do when we go and interview somebody. However, today we were told that they weren't going to meet with us. They said that they were going to delay it because of the rain. However, they said they are supposed to call us back and that should be getting back on the books. Hopefully next week. We have lots of questions that we want to ask them.
Yeah, what is the big question that you do want to ask them in terms of what you were hoping to get from Chief Troy Finner today?
The questions that we really want to know are more about this investigation, how this all works, how this is going to be impacting the department right now. We have lots of questions about how they are going to be using their manpower. This has been a big part of that investigation.
And also that panel, we know there's been a lot of concern about how truly independent it might be. Were there any extra details you were hoping to get about how that panel will function?
Yeah, so on the panel, you see them right there on your screen. We've had two main questions that we've really been posing the last couple of weeks. One, is this panel big enough? And two, is their scope of power also going to be big enough? But that latest question that we have is, who knew what when? We were originally being told that this code was invented back in 2016. However, yesterday, our great investigative team was able to find clips from 2014 where they were talking about 20,000 cases that were suspended because of lack of personnel. And when we were watching that video, we actually saw that the panel lead was at that meeting, Ellen Cohen. So we want to know who knew what, when did this all start? Definitely lots of questions, and really the big question, could this have been stopped earlier?
And last one here as we close, Liliana, when we talk about the major players in this, we've got Chief Troy Finner, we've got the police union who we've heard so much, and then Mayor Whitmire and the panel. Where does the responsibility ultimately lie in this in terms of accountability and justice for the victims?
That's been a huge question that we have been asking for weeks now, and it seems like there isn't really anyone ready to point fingers just yet. We've heard from Mayor Whitmire for over a month now. He has firmly stood by Chief Finner, saying he completely trusts him with this investigation. We've also seen 2 people have been demoted over this, and 2 people are going to be promoted next week into these positions. The people that were demoted are assistant chiefs, and we don't really know why they were chosen. I even asked the chief back on March 7th during a press conference why these 2 people were demoted for this. He said he just didn't want to discuss it at the time. More questions we wanted to be able to ask today. So it seems like as far as who is going to be taking responsibility for it, it doesn't yet stand. We do know that the union did put out a letter. They're asking that the chief does at least recuse himself from the investigation, saying that this is a conflict of interest for him to investigate his own department. But at this point, nobody has actually called for Finner to be fired or to step down from his position.
The scale here sprawls, and the stakes are immense. Liliana Pearson here breaking it down. We know there are still so many more answers to get here. We'll catch up with you again.
And we know you'll stay on top of it.
Yes.
The rain maybe put a damper on the interview today, but we'll sure get some answers soon.
Thank you.
Liliana, thank you.